everyone, welcome back to The Shelves Have Eyes. I'm Fantom, and today we'll be doing a review and unboxing of Transformers Studio Series, Transformers Devastation, Autobot Wheeljack, More Than Meets the Eye collection, which I believe is Target exclusive, just like the current More Than Meets the Eye collection is Target exclusive. I love Wheeljack. He is one of my favorite characters in the franchise, and I have a multitude of figures of him. In fact, I was trying to find all the figures I have of him, and my collection room is still not really in any order, so I'm really going off of what I remember opening and what I remember taking out of boxes and putting on shelves. And I know that I have a Combiner Wars Wheeljack, and I know that I have an Earthrise Wheeljack. I have no idea where they are. I found a whole bunch of other Wheeljacks, but just not those two. And I have a feeling like, as I'm looking at my shelves, my eyes are just purposely ignoring them, even though they're right in front of me. So, suffice it to say, I know I own them. I have seen them recently, but I have no idea where they are right now. Anyway, this is the Transformers Devastation Studio Series Wheeljack figure, which for all intents and purposes is identical to the Transformers Studio Series 86 Wheeljack figure. The only difference is paint applications. It is the exact same mold. I do not believe there are any changes to it between Earthrise to Transformers Devastation to Studio Series. I believe it is all the exact same figure mold-wise. I think the only thing that changed was from the original Earthrise, maybe he had the same, maybe Hasbro fixed the issue and made his translucent plastic actual painted plastic in order to make that stronger. That's the only thing I can think of, because for all intents and purposes, almost every single one of these looks the same. And I was tempted to get the Studio Series 86 Wheeljack. However, when I looked at the Studio Series 86 Wheeljack in a store, I was kind of taken aback at how few paint apps were on the figure. It just did not look, it looked extraordinarily plain. So I opted to buy this version of the figure because it really came down to something as simple as the paint applications on his legs were more extensive than the paint applications on the Studio Series 86 version of the figure. So I just decided to do this one. It was cheaper than the Studio Series 86 Deluxe was in a Walmart, so that was also a plus for me. And at some point I intend on putting repro labels on him anyway, so whatever. Looking at the box, we have a very stylized kind of CGI shaded look for the figure in black and white and red for some strange reason. Close-up of that image on the side, continued on here, and on the back we have a nice image of him as he appeared in the game during the upgrade and mission select screen. And it says, Wheeljack bravely fights to defeat the Insecticon guards of the Plasma Core, which seems extraordinarily specific. But in any case, you have a nice little rendering of the figure in both of its modes, and that's it for packaging. So how about we open this up and take a look at what he looks like in reality, shall we? All right, so when you open the package, you get the actual figure itself. You get these two guns and instructions. Looking at him, it does not look like anything else needs to be done to the figure to make him complete in robot mode. So we really just need to put his accoutrements on. So, as we can see, this is a pretty good representation of the character, quite honestly. Chunky in the best possible way. The gray plastic on his arms and his legs more accurately represents what he appeared, how he appeared in the show. This particular joint here is a little floppy. It's a little loose. I may have to put a little bit of clear gloss nail polish into that joint just to tighten it up a little bit. Both of these actually are a little loose. Looser than my Earthrise was, but proportion-wise, he looks nice. He does have a ankle tilt. His feet are enormous, which makes sense. I mean, he was always a very chunky character, even in G1. He has wrist articulation simply because that's part of the transformation. He cannot do a bicep curl. He only has a standard joint here. And his forearm is noticeably longer than the top of his arm, his bicep, so he can't really put his hand on his hip. Overall, the figure feels fairly solid. It's a little light, I guess, but I mean, it's not like it's any lighter or heavier than the Earthrise version of this figure. I do kind of don't like the fact that this weapon that they gave him just does not seem to work very well as a gun or a post. He needs to have his shoulder cannon should be a lot longer than that. But, I mean, I appreciate that they tried. Curiously, this is, I believe, Sideswipe's gun, or at least modeled after Sideswipe's gun, and the instruction booklet for Wheeljack even includes an image of him holding this gun handheld, rather than posting it on his shoulder. So it seems like, collectively, both Hasbro and fans have forgotten that he used to have a little shoulder-mounted cannon. It was always one of my favorite parts of his character in the show. But he has standard articulation that you would expect from a figure of this type. Maybe not quite as extensive as other figures, Deluxe class figures in the line. It really boils down to the fact that this is an Earthrise figure. It is an Earthrise mold. It is an Earthrise figure. So just like Studio Series 86 Prowl, he feels a little light. I don't think they were using quite as much plastic back then as they are now using for Studio Series 86. But that is not, I'm not taking anything away from this figure. The figure looks good. It's a really nice combination of his cartoon model and his original toy, because his original toy had these enormous forearms that tapered out to enormous fists when, you know, he actually had fists. I don't think I had any Wheeljacks that actually did have fists, like G1 Wheeljacks, because I believe his fists shut off. Oh, no. No, I'm thinking of something else, aren't I? No, his hands were attached to him. They still were huge. Doesn't matter. What was I thinking of then? It doesn't matter. Maybe I'm thinking of Ironhide and Ratchet, because those were barely robots, really. In any case. No, it's very nice. I like it. The head sculpt is exactly the same as it is for all of the other versions of this figure. Really, it boiled down to my decision to get this version rather than any of the other versions. Really just boiled down to I liked the color. I liked the paint scheme on this particular version. I mean, granted, he could probably do with a really nice set of repro labels, but he just didn't seem as plain as the Studio Series 86 version did. I mean, it doesn't matter anyway. I'll be getting labels for him regardless, but I wanted a slightly more detailed start, let's just say. The base needed to be good and needed to be fulfilling to me even before any labels were applied. Let's just say that. Like I said, the only limitations are really just, it's not quite as posable as other Deluxe class figures in this line and in the War for Cybertron line. It's as posable as you can expect Wheeljack to be. I mean, he was never really a rough and tumble bot. He was the scientist, and he would shoot you. Have I got a surprise for them? Well, that was a surprise, all right. Perfectly typifies his personality.
Let's see how he likes my new shock blast cannon. That's a shock, all right.
That and creating the Dinobots. But in any case, I give this solid marks. It's a really nice figure, and I like the updated colors and paint. So how about we transform him and see what he looks like in car mode. So yes, it looks like the instructions still did not account for the secondary gun. So it clearly shows this one going on top, and then you don't know where that one goes. But here he is in his car mode. It's very sleek. It's very nice. I'm actually really impressed by how flat it was. I think I was impressed with that even in the beginning. It's a really nice, compact, sleek look for him that I like a lot. Oh, he rolls really nicely. The bottom is particularly sleek, actually. He does have non-rubberized wheels. These are just plastic, but he rolls well enough. And the 5mm posts, pegs, 5mm. Anyway, these hollows on the back end of his car can accommodate the handle of the gun, so he can still travel with it, and it's still attached to him, so you won't lose it. I do like the cartoon blue on his windshield. And as simple as this green hexagonal triangular design is on his hood, I think it works. I wish that there was a little bit more color, like if these were darker, these were gray, maybe a couple of accents, maybe the racing stripe on him. I find very little wrong with this mode. Once again, you could do with some repro labels, but no, this is really solid. One of the more solid Wheeljack vehicle modes I've seen. So here we are at the end, and I just figured that at this point, let's just do a little comparison with other versions of Wheeljack, shall we? So here is Masterpiece Wheeljack, the cartoon accurate version, and this is Beast Hunter's Wheeljack with his weird angelic wing attachments. Don't remember what this guy is. Is this Concept Wheeljack from one of the Michael Bay movies? There's your normal Transformers Prime Wheeljack, which has not aged very well. He's very, very, very loose. His joints are very loose. This is the Generations Reveal the Shield Wheeljack, which was really just a redo of tracks. Is that all the Wheeljacks I've got? I've got a couple more Wheeljacks here. I've got Origins Wheeljack that I haven't transformed yet, and this is the Wheeljack from the Bumblebee movie, which is also untransformed. But suffice to say, this is a lot of Wheeljacks. And you know what? I mean, nothing's ever going to be quite as good as Masterpiece Wheeljack, just because, I mean, it's Masterpiece. It's an excellent version of the figure. It looks cartoon accurate. It looks toy accurate to a certain extent. This one's proportions are just crazy and all over the place, and I never agreed with his weird squat legs, which really bother me, actually. This one is actually pretty good, despite it not really looking anything like the character other than the head. The Prime Wheeljacks, like, they're okay. They're not fantastic. Which one is this? Is this another Beast Hunters version or something? I do like the fact that the toys have the mouth plate that he was missing in the show. I don't like the concept of Wheeljack without a mouth plate. It just kind of defeats the purpose of the character to me. It takes away one of his defining traits. But no, as a small-scale representation of a bigger figure, this is doing a very good job of being Wheeljack. And it scales well with other Chug figures. So, I'll give it to it. You really can't compare anything to Masterpiece Wheeljack. He just really is the best representation of the character. He looks good from all angles. He folds up well. It's just really surprising because the amount of engineering that went into this is really not a lot by today's standards. I mean, today's Masterpiece figures, even the HasLab figures, are so much more intricate than this Wheeljack. But I remember getting this Wheeljack and saying to myself, wow, this is super confusing and super complex. And I was really happy with the result. So here we are with our Studio Series Transformers Devastation More Than Meets the Eye Collection Wheeljack. He is a good-looking figure. I really enjoy him. I think his colors pop. The only other version of this mold that I own is the Earthrise mold, so I can't really attest to whether this one is better or worse than the Autobots Stand United pack version of the Wheeljack figure. And also, I really don't intend to buy the Studio Series 86 Wheeljack figure, just because now I already own two versions of the same mold in two different colors. And the paint scheme difference between this version of Wheeljack and Studio Series 86 is negligible at best. Obviously, you can go with some repro labels. I'll look into that. I don't believe that they have a Studio Series 86 or Studio Series Devastation set out yet. I believe they have an Earthrise set and an Autobots Stand United set, which, I mean, they're all going to be equally applicable to every version of this mold because there are no mold changes. This is exactly the same figure. It just has different paint applications and plastics may be molded in a different color. But that is it. So any of the repro label sets for any version of this particular Wheeljack mold will be applicable to any robot. It's really just down to your personal preference of what stickers and details you want to add to your figure. But this is well worth the price considering I paid like 19 bucks for it. So that's not bad at all. This was a Target exclusive because it was part of the More Than Meets the Eye collection, which now also includes correct, accurate, painted Hot Rod and Scourge and Battle Damage Optimus Prime and Battle Damage Megatron, neither of which of those latter two I have ever seen in a store. I keep seeing them listed at my Targets nearby as in stock and ready in like an hour, but when you walk into the store, I never see them on the shelves. So I think maybe, if anything, Target is holding them behind so that people don't just come in and rip them off. They're pretty good figures. I mean, I have it in my mind to take the More Than Meets the Eye collection Optimus, because I already own the regular Optimus, to get the More Than Meets the Eye one and then buy the DNA Designs Energon Universe conversion kit that comes with Megatron's arm fusion cannon, just because I think that that would work better with a battle damaged Optimus Prime figure than a regular Optimus Prime figure. But in any case, thank you very much for joining me on this Wheeljackian, this Phil Collins Chris Latta extravaganza. This is a very worthwhile figure if you don't own any other versions of this mold. I like it. I also am obsessed with Wheeljack, so, you know, what are you going to do? If you're not obsessed with Wheeljack, you probably, and you already have the Earthrise or the Autobots Stand United version, you're probably not going to want to buy this. This is what it looks like. This is what I thought of it. In summation, it's a very good figure. The original figure was very good. I like this paint application more than the original Earthrise mold. I mean, that's just my personal preference. I do like he comes with a secondary gun. Because then he can actually just have his shoulder-mounted cannon all the time. I'm going to continue on with Transformers Studio Series, well, Transformers in general. I'm probably going to do a lot more deluxe classes because they seem to be piling up here, and I kind of do want to get them out of the way before I start in with the 13. I've also got a couple of more upgrade kits. These are nothing special like the Shockwave one, which apparently nobody can find anywhere. It's disappeared from the internet. The only one that I've been able to find after so many weeks of searching is the Disco Boots version on eBay, which is just lifts. I do not know where that other set came from or went, but this was the package. It was from Sky Toucher Studio. And, I mean, they went through all the trouble of having all of these labels made, so, I mean, it's not like it was a limited print run. I'm sure that it's going to pop up again, and if they don't continue making it, I'm sure DNA Designs will come up with something. But I do have a couple of DNA Design upgrade kits coming, so I'm going to start getting done with that, and obviously I've got quite a few repro label sets that are just building up, so I'd like to do those, but you guys let me know whether you want me to actually do the labeling on camera or whether you just want to see the final product. I could do either, so just let me know which you prefer and we'll consider like a poll or something. I don't know. In any case, thank you very much for joining me. If you did enjoy this content and you would like to see more content like this, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel so you'll know when the next video drops. I have over 40 Transformers videos up as of this moment, probably going almost to 45 at this point. And I love talking Transformers, so if you do too, just leave a comment and I'll respond to it. I respond to almost every comment that we receive. But in any case, I have been Fantom. This has been The Shelves Have Eyes. Have a good day, y'all.
Transformers, defenders of truth, robots who fight in disguise. Transformers, when the battle is through, only the strong will survive. Till all I want, unknown soldier.